Welcome, everybody. We have this new skit. It's sounding real good. We're going to try our hardest on this one. Sam created it. It's great. This is...
Guys, it is my one true perfect masterpiece. I've brought the heavens down with lightning to form this creation that I've made. I've put it from pieces of shit that I've tried to do before, shit that I've seen before. It is my own little Frankenstein, guys. I'm calling it It Came From the Garage. Ooh. So yeah, guys, so pretty much what it's going to be, it's going to just be just little like paranormal cult shit, a lot of the macabre and a lot of really, really awesome stuff that I personally love to death. I love talking about this shit. I love hearing about these things. I get a lot of inspiration from just a bunch of different sources that I've seen. Growing up, horror movies and all that were my life. I lived off of that. I was in fear because of that.
I didn't know any of this.
Oh man, but you guys are going to learn today. Yes, it is fantastic, guys, and I'm more than happy to say this, but our first episode that we're going to be talking about, and like I said before a million times, everybody has an experience, everybody has a story, they can tell you a million different ones. We're going to be talking today about ghosts. Very, very scary stuff, yeah.
Something.
So yeah, I mean, ghosts, guys, it's whatever you want it to be. There's a lot of different theories and stuff that people have. It's life energy. It's past memories of people. Tons of different things that people think they are. And hell, there's a good majority of people that don't believe in them, that do believe in them. Me, for one, and I'm sure you guys can agree, I believe in ghosts. I think they're a super real thing. I think they're around us. There's a lot of energy that people have in their lives that just kind of get left behind when they go. When they're no longer physically here, something is left behind.
All right, and we're going to summon them right now with this Ouija board right here. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm so down for that. I know you guys probably wouldn't do it, but I'm 120% down.
Jeremy's a little skeptical on that. He thinks they're going to haunt him.
They will. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but guys,
they might.
Again, it is a very big thing. It's always been talked about since, the beginning of time. Just people have always just wondered what happens after death. What goes on, where do we go, what happens, a bunch of stuff like that. We'll probably go a little bit more into the afterlife on a different episode, but for today, guys, we're going to be talking about one of the options that happens.
Boogity boos.
Yes, we're going to be talking about ghosts. It's pretty big. It's an ongoing thing. You go YouTube, you find shit about it. At some point in your life, you've heard about ghosts, what they are, what they're about. There's a million different TV shows that are out there. Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Activity. Oh, that's a movie, actually. Ghost Hunters. Yeah, oh my goodness. There is so many things that you can easily just look up on and try to find stuff out about.
We're not talking about the video of the title saying terrifying ghost sighting, and it's just a guy wearing a bedsheet running across
my goodness, yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, man.
Not videos like that. We're talking about real shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely real stuff. Ghosts, poltergeist, residual effects, a bunch of different shit like that. There's a bunch of different terms for it. It's really, really fascinating. Honestly, if you guys haven't gotten a chance to look really into it, you should. There's like a million different websites that you go to. There's a million that I found online that just go and talk about just ghosts, the famous type of ghost, different sightings, reportings, a bunch of shit like that. A lot of theories and all. It is a constantly growing topic that people just add on to every single day. There's stories, there's events, there's recordings, there's a million different things that you can find online, and all you gotta do is just look for it. But I mean, today we're mostly going to be talking about just little things that we have gone through, because I mean, like I said, everybody has a story, right? Everybody has something that they can recall, like it happened yesterday, and either it scared them, it made them feel at peace. There's a lot of different ways that these kind of events make you feel, and we're going to be going into it today. Like I said, for starters, guys, I believe in ghosts. I 110% think they're an actual thing. There is some sort of form of energy that follows around us, or that's just around, that's just living their, I guess, past life, afterlife, here on Earth. Yeah, it's definitely something spooky. But
I agree. I believe there's ghosts. I'm about 80% on board with the whole ghost thing.
Yep.
I have
for the most part.
I have like a couple stories
Oh, fantastic!
So,
man.
are you on board with the whole ghost thing? Do you
Yes.
believe they're 100% real?
Do you think
Yes.
they're real?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want, honestly, what do you guys think ghosts are? Do you think there's some sort of energy from a person? Do you think they're more of what is it called? Reoccurring memories, just specific events that have happened in somebody's life that they relive through, even
That's
in the
interesting
afterlife.
take on it.
You know what I mean? It's very, very it's absolutely very interesting. There's like I said, there's a lot of different things to it. Do you think that they're what is the word that I'm looking for? Like they know what's going on? Do you think they know they're ghosts? You know what I mean? Do you think maybe that they see us in
I
their
think they're
world
in
and they
full
think that we're
control.
something else? You know what I mean?
I think they're in full control and they
Yep.
can visit us.
Oh, fantastic!
I
man.
think it's like a past spirit
Mhm.
from family or something that comes visit. That's what I think it is.
Oh yeah, definitely, man, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a strong like spiritual energy that you just see like out of nowhere.
See, I don't really
you don't even
believe in
have
the see.
you don't even have to see them. Like you could.
I think it's
like,
just them messing with you kind of thing.
yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think they do it for fun.
Yeah, I mean, being a ghost does sound kind of fun. But I mean, there's a bunch of different types of ghosts, man. There's the whole shadow people, which is like those little black masses that you see in the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm.
There's those kind of things. There's residual images, I want to say it was called, where you actually see the person and the person has so much energy from where they have passed that you can see them because they're practically forming there. It could be something like a war. Like the whole Gettysburg thing. There was men out there that were fighting for their country, that were fighting for a cause that completely shaped the United States as we know it. Just thinking about how a person could have so much emotion, so much feeling. I wouldn't doubt it if that was to be left there in that spot, or even somewhere in their home that they once were at before they were moved elsewhere. Some person can have that kind of energy where they can almost manifest themselves back into a whole person. Maybe not even a whole person. Maybe you could just see like a face or a hand or so. Honestly, like I said, there's a lot of different theories. It can be people just trying to reach back to us, trying to come back into the world. Bunch of different things. Like I said, it could just be somebody reliving a past life, that a moment that meant a lot to them, or maybe didn't mean anything to them, and they're just back here on Earth, just getting that taste of life again. One more time or so. Like I said, there's a lot of different types of ghosts. There's good ghosts. There's poltergeists.
See,
ones.
I don't see it. I see it mostly as good spirited type things.
Okay.
I don't believe there's that evil ones that are trying to haunt you and all that.
Oh, all right.
That's how I see it myself.
No, absolutely. No, honestly, most of the cases that I hear from people are usually cases. Like I, report these kind of things.
Sam's secretly a ghost hunter.
Yeah, right.
You can check him out on Channel 7.
Yeah, if you guys need ghost hunting, I'm there. No, but I mean, most of the time though, when I hear from people, it's usually good things. It's usually somebody saying that they might have thought it was a family member or a past tenant that lived in the house.
See, I've never really heard that.
Stuff.
That scaring kind of thing. I mean, I can see you getting freaked out, but I don't believe they're shutting off your basement lights to scare you.
Oh, I see.
Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them banging in the attic or something, and you'd be like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Was that Grandpa? Ah, man, I bet you it was Grandpa.
No, definitely.
Kind of thing.
No, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the, like I said, there's just a lot of different theories, like how you were mentioning about the whole lights flickering on and off and all that. One of the big things about ghosts is that their energy is almost like a weird, like a magnetic kind of field. Yeah, that it almost drains power from certain things. Now, granted, it is kind of, really impossible for them to drain a whole entire house worth of energy. Maybe a camera shutting off or a computer turning off for a bit.
I can understand.
Make a little bit more sense.
A lamp. I don't see them shutting out the whole, your whole room.
entire house. Yeah.
To really scare you kind of deal.
No, but I absolutely agree though. For the most
And
part,
watch it happens right now.
I know. Yeah, right. Everything just goes off. Yeah. But for the most part, though, I do agree with you. I don't really think there are really ever people that are out trying to haunt or trying to scare you.
Yeah, I
think
see
maybe
it like that.
you end up getting scared because, of course, it's the unknown. It's something that we don't see, something that just happens without us even knowing about it.
I think
but
people get scared. It's not intentionally to scare you. It's to contact you.
But to be fair, though, to be 100% fair, there are such things as poltergeists. And poltergeists, what those are the ones that have more of an energy to themselves where they can move things by command. You've heard those stories where people are like, I swear to God, I left my keys right here. and now they're somewhere in the kitchen or something like that. Granted, that could be just forgetfulness, but you know,
that
there's
one's
certain
hard
things
for
like
me
that.
to really get into.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, like what you said earlier with past tenants.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to have my neighbor that lived down
Downstairs.
here.
Okay.
Base.
Yeah. No. Definitely. As far as experiences goes, like I was mentioning, we each have our own individual one, and I can easily say I think Jeremy has a really really good one that he want to lead off with. So were you saying about the pest in it?
Oh no, I mean it's not, the story doesn't have something to do with her.
Oh, but you can see it maybe becoming like a thing, right? Like like her passing and all that could have some sort of effect in your house.
It's possible it has, but nothing. I mean, like I haven't had anything happen in a while, but there has some stuff that's happened that's those I thought was weird.
Sure. I mean, if you want, you're more than welcome to tell us about it.
I remember this was like maybe about a year ago, where it was late at night. I'm walking in my living room to like just chill, lay in my couch, listen to some music. I didn't have my headphones are on, but I didn't have the music yet. I just heard this like slamming noise behind me, and my window was wide open, and all of a sudden it just slammed shut. Like this, it wasn't like a soft slam, like where it just like slipped down. This was just like a it was just so sudden. I was like, what the fuck was that? Like I didn't think of anything at first. So I just reopened the window and I got back to my music. But like now that I thought about it, I was like, oh shit, it might have been a ghost.
See,
Like,
the only problem I have with like that is a window could easily push close with the wind,
it could,
pressure,
but that's
all
just,
that
like you felt my window.
I know.
You felt my window before.
Yours
right?
is kind of hard to understand, but it's still those are the ones that are like really.
No, there's definitely, honestly, for as many different theories that there are, there's also a trillion different other ones that can easily disprove those kind of things. Like, yeah, granted, somebody, if you were to tell somebody else that story, somebody else would have told you, like, it was just the wind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, it's more of just the personal feelings that I think is what really makes this whole ghost thing very big, is just that emotion that you get for those kind of things happening, It either gets you scared, it either gets you curious, there's a lot of different things. Even if it's just the wind,
like, I think it's like I have an upstairs, right, and
sure.
the door occasionally decides to close.
All right.
This happens often, and as soon as I see that, I can see as being something because we have all our windows closed and everything. It's not like there's this pressure that's pulling it closed. This thing's fully open and it just randomly decides to close. Now that I can understand.
Okay, I see. So those are one of those things.
It's when I'm downstairs, you'll hear it.
Oh, I see. So
I feel like they don't do it intentionally in front of your face. Like Jeremy, he's in his room and there's a window right next to him. I don't see that being something like that.
I'm not kidding. No, that's exactly what happened.
No, of course.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that could be wind or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's easily justifiable because the window's open and the pressure and all that. That could easily happen.
My window's extremely hard to close, even with our strength.
True.
So I mean, it's like, I have a broken window, guys. But my mom also told me this story. She like woke up in the middle of the night for I don't know no reason. She just randomly woke up. Her door is like it was open like halfway. She looked in the hall. She told me she looked in the hallway. Like you couldn't hear anybody walking, but she saw like somebody in a white shirt just walking the kitchen. Right? She thought it was me. So she gets out of her bed, like, saying, like, Jeremy, like, she was going to say, like, oh, Jeremy, like, what the hell are you doing up? But then it was at the time where, like, I would leave my door open when I go to sleep. Now I don't do that anymore. But then she just looks in my room, and I'm just, like, laying there, just passed out. And she's, like, to this day, like, she didn't know, like, what that was.
And she never saw anything else after that?
No. She looked in the kitchen, there was nobody there, nothing there.
Oh, but she saw something walk into there. Oh, wow. Was this from her?
What it was, what was weird is that like you would like if you see a person walking, you would hear footsteps, right?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't hear nothing. She just saw the person just moving.
Wow.
No,
Interesting.
that's some. I remember my mom telling me that story. That was like maybe around when we first moved in here.
Oh, okay.
So that's
It's been a while now then,
It's a good
hasn't it?
dream.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But no, like,
it's a good waking up, not looking right, and kind of.
See, I think these kind of stories chalk up to like how like Anthony was explaining about like how his door upstairs just randomly shuts. You know, it's one of those things where it's very hard to disprove. Like you want to say, well, maybe it was just something
footsteps
else.
and stuff on the
Yeah,
upstairs.
but see, exactly. Those are the kind of things.
Footsteps in my attic.
No,
I mean,
yeah. See, those are the kind of things that are that you want to explain. Sure, you could probably come up with a handful of things that you can, but for the most part, it's very very hard to like. They call it debunking. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to debunk. It's very hard to say like, oh, it was that. It's one of those things where just like, oh, you were there, so you're practically the only person that can give us that sort of information, you know? Like, I mean, granted, like I said, Jeremy has an open window, closes, sure, it could be the wind. Right away, that's the first thing you think is the wind.
I highly
but
doubt that.
when you say something like, well, I live with 2 other people in my house, no one's home at this time, I'm by myself, I hear things in the attic. Then that's when you're just like, oh, holy shit, you know, hopefully nobody's in there trying to murder you. But, you know, those are one of those things where it's a little bit harder to explain, you know? It's very, very tricky. And like I said, it can honestly just be like a whole other, just big old, you know, just a paranormal thing for all we know, you know? It's absolutely very crazy. Those are the kind of things that always just make me so interested in learning about these things. It's just those things you can't explain. You know what I mean? It's so crazy seeing things, hearing things, and you're just thinking to yourself in the middle of the night, just what the hell was that? You know what I mean? Like, it's so maddening, the things that happen around you and all that. Do you guys want to share another story, perhaps?
I don't know. I gotta think about this. Ghost stories.
Well, if you guys want, while you're thinking of, I can give you guys one if you want. Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I remember this other one where I actually walked in my living room. I turn on.
So Jeremy's house is haunted, apparently.
Yeah, it's haunted now.
Yeah,
Right?
like I don't know. It's like it doesn't happen often enough to where like you would think it is, but it's just rare occurrences.
That's why I say I feel like they're fucking with you. Yeah, just like, for the fun of it.
I just turn on my TV, and you just see like you guys know where my like table is with the lamp and all that, right? And you just see like
the light goes off.
Not the light goes off. No, I saw like a shadow human figure just like standing there. I'm looking directly at it, and I look away because I thought it was like, oh, maybe that was like a TV shadow or something.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I look away, it was gone. So like.
See, that's what I was mentioning earlier. The different types of ghosts that there are. There's like I said, there was something called shadow people.
Yeah, now, that's what it was. It was a shadow person.
Yeah, shadow people aren't necessarily attached to certain things. They're more of just like a free roaming spirit, and they
I thought you were gonna say it is attached to things.
No,
Jeremy. So the lamp, you might want to get rid of.
Yeah, here, get that thing out of here. No, but shadow people, the reason that they pretty much manifest as shadows is because they just don't have that sort of energy to take away from certain things in order for them to have those physical features that you'd see like in every other picture and all that. They're just a black mass of energy that just travel around the world. You know, they're going honestly like wherever they want to go to, wherever they end up themselves at. For all you know, you might have just
I might have just encountered like just a random one just that happened to be passing by.
Yeah, it's just some random person that decided I'm gonna check this place out. You know, like that's practically what shadow people are. You know, they're just the little trick of the eye. You know, they're in the corner of your eye when you see them. You know, you glance over at a certain place, they're there. Next thing you know, they're gone. Because they're just going around. You know, they don't have a specific place or a specific item or person that they're attached to. The world is their domain, and they're sometimes you just catch them out of the corner of your eye. You know, they somehow manage to manifest some sort of like energy from them where they appear for that slight second, and next thing you know, they're gone.
I could have swore after that encounter I had, I could have swore I posted in it. Like I had like a Facebook post about it. But I don't remember.
Stay up to date with Jeremy's lifestyle on Facebook, everybody.
No Facebook plugs, you goddamn bastards. Get off of Facebook. Anyways,
yeah, go hunt ghosts. Get off Facebook. Ghosts. Go hunt ghosts. Okay.
So, anyways,
new goal in life.
A story you want to tell, Anthony?
Yeah, your story now.
Let's see. I don't really link them as really ghost stories. So I got two.
Sure.
One, Jeremy was involved with. We have a friend that he had this house, and let me tell him real quick. So he had this attic, right? And we go up there, and mind you, he's afraid of ghosts, and he's like, this is some crazy white people shit. He's white. So that makes it a little funny. But so me and Jeremy are like, let's go up in this attic, dude. Let's check it out. And we go up there. We're messing around. We found some old band gear. This guy was in a band. He was what else was it? Military, right? He had the military.
Yeah, he was in the military, I believe.
Yeah, we found like old like a portfolio of him. He was like a sergeant or something. It was really weird. And we're going through all that stuff for the hell of it. They left it in the attic from when they moved out.
Oh, this was an actual person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So this was a previous person that was living there?
Yeah, previous tenant to that apartment or house or whatever.
Do you guys know how far back that person was living there?
No.
No, they were from they were in one of the wars, like the Iraqi war.
I thought it
or
was
whatever.
Vietnam or something.
No, it wasn't that long ago. It was
Operation
like
Desert Storm or
something like that.
Yeah.
And,
it was early 2000. Wow.
Yeah, early 2000s type of deal. So we're going through all that. We're reading it, and we took all the band stuff to see if we can use it ourselves and whatnot. We go down, and we're going through all this crap in his room. His room's right. His closet is the entrance to the attic.
Okay.
So we're sitting there messing around. We hear footsteps and stuff.
Ooh.
So it got kind of weird. And then our friend was like, "I can't do this. I'm not even." He didn't even want to sleep there afterwards. It's funny. He's real. He believes in all that, and he doesn't like it. So he runs downstairs right away. Me and Jeremy are still, looking around and talking and everything. We keep hearing these footsteps, and we're like, "All right, we're done." So we take off, and we leave him there. And that was one of our little encounters with ghosts or whatever.
Yeah, something paranormal. Maybe not necessarily ghosts, but just something that's unexplained.
Oh yeah, definitely unexplained.
Wow.
No, well, my question was, I remember that. When I do remember that, is like Sam's question is a good question. We don't know like how long that stuff has been there.
It's true.
And
well, obviously since
obviously
late 2098, whenever that war happened.
Who knows? That could have not been touched since then. You know what I mean?
The guy may have died, and they might have left it up there. And
yeah.
Like how I was mentioning, guys, with the whole like Gettysburg thing, someone had like, especially for a soldier, that's a lot of pride and a lot of emotion that they have going into these wars and all that. It's absolutely maddening, and I'm sure what most people think of when they're like across seas and in different lands and all that is home. So for all we know, of course, this is just a speculation. This isn't hardened evidence or proof or whatever. For all we know, hopefully not. Hopefully that guy's doing fantastic. Hopefully he has like 1 million kids. And, he's living his life. He's a billionaire by now.
1 million kids, maybe.
Yeah, or a little bit less than that. But hopefully he's doing okay. But for all we know, he might have been somebody that unfortunately perished in the war and all that. And his energy, his soul, if you even want to say, is back at that home because that's his home. That's where he was at during whatever happened, parties, events, arguments, good moments, birthdays, all that stuff. That's his home. So he can just be coming back and just exploring around the house that he
and wondering
lived
why
in.
we touched his shit.
Exactly, absolutely. No, he's wondering.
He's probably getting angry that we were touching his shit.
Exactly. He's like, I left that there.
That
yes.
we desecrated his stuff. I didn't want to do, but
We were all involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We didn't desecrate it or anything. We just looked through it.
Just moved around. Yeah,
We looked through. We didn't. I mean, we put it back to where it was.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, for all we know, guys, that guy might like his life at some point was the army. You know, for whatever that he did there, it was at some point his life. So you guys touching it and moving it, that might have maybe manifested something in itself. You know, like. It's just the fact that you guys were looking through that stuff and going through it and all. It might have just in a way somehow, again, all speculation. It might have just brought him back, and maybe that night that you guys were hearing all that stuff, or the following days or whatever when you heard it, maybe it was just him just suddenly almost like reawoken. Like wondering what's going on and all that stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of spirits and all that travel through the world that have questions and, that are wondering what's going on with them or what's happening here and happening there. Why is everything so different? There's a lot of things that they could most likely be going through and all. So maybe that was just something, like I said, maybe it wasn't ghosts. Maybe it was just something, like I said, it's just unexplained, which is the most interesting thing to me is that it's so hard for some people to try to figure out what it is,
Yeah, there's definitely nothing up there. Nothing could have made those footstep sounds.
Man, it's absolutely very, very crazy, very crazy. Well, yeah, I guess I would like to share. Sorry, I think something that I think I've always held very close is the apartment that I used to live in. Sorry, a few years back, like way back when I was a lot younger. We lived in this apartment. And we lived on the very highest floor, right? So we lived all the way at the top. It was about 3 stories. We lived upstairs from there, and the landlord, he lived right below us. Okay. Now this landlord, rest in peace. He has passed away as of now. But when we first moved in, he was a very elderly man. He was maybe already like in his 80s or 90s. He was very old man. But again, nonetheless, he's very wise and all. But he had this wife that was living in there previously. They actually used to live upstairs. She, unfortunately, of course, she passed away before we moved in, like years before we moved in.
And she passed away in that apartment?
Yeah, she passed away upstairs in the apartment that we were living in at the time. He ended up moving down because, of course, he's getting elderly. There's a lot of stairs, exactly. I'm telling you, like, there was a bunch of stairs. I was 6 and in my prime, and I was tired by the time I got to the height, right? But
6, those big stairs.
I was a big kid. I was a very fat kid. One push, one trip, and I rolled all the way back down. So yeah, so it was that kind of stuff. Yeah. Again, she had passed away upstairs where we were living at the moment, and I remember he never really necessarily told us. He had mentioned his wife before. He had showed us pictures and all. Had mentioned something about like if we've ever experienced anything or if we've ever seen anything, and we have, honestly, we have seen different things. Honestly, my parents have told me numerous times of me not being there, just different things have happened. Me personally, what I have experienced though, it is like I said, it's just unexplained, right? We lived all the way at the top of the building, correct, right? So there was a door downstairs, and then it opened up and it led into a bunch of stairs, and then there was another door all the way at the top which led into our apartment. So those right there, that's 2 closed off spaces, right? Mm-hmm. So in the stairway, I think even on the stillest of nights, just plain dry human nights or whatever, we would every like here and then just start hearing just like footsteps, like people like suddenly running up the stairs, and it would just eventually stop once it sounded like it was getting to the top of the door, right? It would just stop. It would sound like someone was running up the stairs, and then it would finish.
Now that's creepy.
Incredibly creepy, and it was numerous times that we heard it. And I remember
I've heard stories like this before.
I remember I had asked my my mom like, hey, do you hear that? And she would always tell us, it's the wind, don't worry about it. Okay. Not until a few years later, until we were like in our second house, I had brought it up to her again one day, and she literally just looked me then in the face and she told me, honestly, Sam, it wasn't the wind. Like, I have no idea what it was. I heard it like every other night. We didn't. She's like, I don't know what it was. She's like, if it was the wind, we would hear the doors moving. She's like, all it sounded was just like footsteps. And that was and I remember every night when I would hear that, I would picture like a person walking up the stairs, right? And like I said, like mentioning before, the woman with her husband, she had lived upstairs there before, so it was just her just kind of showing up. And if it wasn't that, there was a bunch of other different things that we would hear. Like we would hear just random like a little bit like a knock on the wall or something, like a little like something moving. I think when it got really creepy was when things started like falling over for like literally no reason. I think everybody has like those like in their kitchen when you have your little dishes and all that you would put away in. I don't know if you guys have those or not. Those little like or say if you guys even have like a dishwasher, those little things where you put the dishes into or they hold them into place. Yeah. So we would have that like right next to our sink, right? We would have like just plates lined up all in there on top of a flat surface. Keep in mind. One day I remember we were it was like the night like around 12 o'clock or so, right? And just suddenly all you hear is just a crash, just a slam onto the ground, and it would just I remember I was sitting in my room, just quiet watching TV. It was like Saturday night or something. I was watching like The Simpsons or whatever. My dad was he has a room right across from us. Same thing, he was watching TV. That's when we used to have those big old box TVs, So I remember So I remember we had opened the door and we looked out, and just right there we turned the lights on, flipped the lights on. There is just a single cracked plate just spread across all over the floor. It was the craziest, the weirdest of things. We didn't hear any sort of movement, no nothing, just a slam on the ground. We thought maybe it fell from the cabinets or something, but no, it was from that little dish rack that we had. And man, that was terrifying. And if it wasn't things like that, we had a little porch kind of thing like in the back of our apartment, and we would constantly hear things fall in the back. And if I remember correctly, I think that's where their storage room was at some point. That's where they held most of their stuff. That's even where our landlord even kept some of his stuff upstairs in our porch area too. And we would always hear things. And I swear to God, guys, it could be like 90 degrees outside, incredibly hot with no air, no nothing to cool you off. For some reason, every time we were back there, just randomly, it would just suddenly just get cold, like a really freezing kind of cold thing. And then later on that night, like I said, we would have like boxes or something stacked on top of each other, just all on the floor. we would have them taped up and all that stuff. All our shit would just be all over the floor, just there, just completely just torn to pieces. And honestly, guys, I wish I can say it stopped at that. I wish I can say that was it. And I honestly, like I said,
that is the limit for me.
Yeah,
if they're throwing boxes around. There's
honest to God, guys. Like I said, I wish I can tell you that was just the end of that. But I think the most scariest thing that I had happened to me that one time when I was living there in an apartment. There's this day. It was just me and my sister. It was my youngest sister. We were sitting in the living room, right? I was in she was in her room. I was in the living room. I was watching TV. I remember just to bug her because being the older brother, you have to, right? Got toughen them up. So I remember sitting in the living room and I slowly started turning the TV volume up. My sister, I could hear her yelling, "Sam, turn it down, it's too loud," or whatever, right? Like I said, it's my family and then the landlord downstairs and nobody else downstairs in the basement. It's just a bunch of washing machines. So out of nowhere, when I was turning that volume down, I remember sitting there laughing to myself, ha ha ha, it's bothering her. I was being a little dickhead, right? So out of nowhere, and I swear to God, guys, just suddenly, for no reason whatsoever, all I hear is almost like right behind me, clear as day, as someone just say, "Quiet." And it scared the shit out of me. It was a woman, which was the craziest part. I swear to God, it was a lady that told me just, "Quiet." And it freaked me out. I remember just right away just turning the TV off. I didn't even bother trying to turn it down. I turned the TV off. I put the covers over me. I remember it was like sometime like in the afternoon too. It was like maybe 4 or 5. So it was still clear as day. I had all the doors and the windows and all that were locked and all. Like I put the covers over my head. I was freaking out. I was like, what the hell was that, right? My mom got home. She had got home. She got there. My sister never said anything about the volume being turned up or anything. I remember she got there, and she had told me, she's like, "Hey, were you playing music really loud or something?" And I was like, "No, why?" And she's like, "Because the landlord just told me right now that you guys were like really loud. He said he was sleeping." And it scared the shit out of me because I was like, oh my God, like maybe it was his wife
so
trying to tell us to be quiet because he was asleep. But like I said, he's a very old man. Like, he's a very elderly man. When he talks to us, he talks to us like very soft, very low. He wouldn't scream for life. He didn't have it in him. You know, he couldn't do it. He was just he was physically unable to yell at us as much as he wanted to, because we were shitty little kids. But yeah, it was almost like as if his wife was speaking for him. Like, I just heard in the corner just
that's creepy.
Yeah, and it would freak me the hell out. There was other times too where I would stay up in the middle of the night. I'd be by myself. Everybody else is asleep. I'm over here, coloring or playing with toys or some shit like that. Just trying not to go to bed. And I remember, and it always freaked me out. I'd always just suddenly start hearing tapping, like just out of nowhere, just tap, 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 tap. And for some reason, and maybe this was just me just scaring myself or something, but I don't know why, but immediately in my head, I just imagined like a person standing there with like their arms crossed, like tapping their foot. And that was just the first thing that always came to my head. Like, they were bothered that I was like awake that late. And I don't know why, but that was just the first thing that came to my head every single time.
That's like the old school way of saying I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, like I'm upset.
So I can see how that's kind of freaked out.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I don't know why, but that was literally just the first thing that came to me every single time. It would happen often too at night. It was just tap, 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 and I remember I would always just right away look over to the door. Like at my door, like just expecting to see someone standing there, like looking at me, ready to say, "Go to bed already" or something. But no, everybody was dead asleep. It was just darkness that I would look into from the kitchen and all that. It was nothing. And right away, every time, like the second I hear that, right away in my head, I would, at some point, I just got used to it. I would just think to myself, "All right, time to go to bed. I'm up too late," and I would just go straight to my room. I'd lay down and I go straight to bed after hearing that noise. It was almost like an alarm clock, like just telling me like, "Hey, what are you doing up? Go to bed." You know what I mean? And it was crazy.
The way you look at it, it's good things.
Yeah, no, of course.
It's not like they were doing that to scare you.
Yeah, to scare us off and all that. I mean, granted, it would be nice if she didn't throw our dishes on the floor and broke them.
Okay, well, that's
yeah, but it's whatever. I get it.
I'm going to blame that one on gravity and, the wind or something.
Right. But again, it's things like that happen that are just so crazy, They're just unexplained, Like I said, everybody has a million different stories they can tell. That's not even, like, the start of all the bunch of other things that I've heard, that I've experienced. That's literally the tip of the iceberg.
I see it also as sometimes you're playing with your own mind. Mm-hmm. Like the one time me and Jeremy, we were doing this security job for someone we know, and we had to stay in this house overnight, and it's in the middle of this this foresty area.
Oh God, this story.
See, I think it's just a mindset. So we had to stay overnight, right? And about midnight. It's pitch black. You look out the window. There's a street, maybe like half a mile down, and you can just barely see this one street light and everything. No cars ever go by, and we're just sitting there. We got to keep an eye on this place, and well, for one, we weren't ready to go all night, so we fell asleep halfway through anyway. But that's just besides the point. But it's that mindset. So we were freaking out. We're like, maybe there's somebody in the forest waiting to kill us or something, and then you go into your mind, and you're like, well, it's dark, and this place is weird. Maybe there's ghosts in here. And then you get yourself in that whole mindset. And I think half the time it's just you freaking out of your own personal mind messing with you.
No, absolutely. But if there's something that I can counter that with, I can tell you that every single living thing on this planet has some sort of, like, cautionary feeling that they have them. Like, it's a natural instinct to be aware of what's going on around you, right?
True.
Sometimes you just get that feeling.
Like,
you know what I mean?
That makes sense with, like I heard the door moving and whatnot. Those I can understand. But I feel like sometimes you put yourself in that mindset. Like there, me and Jeremy were like, okay, there's something here. And we just feel this presence. And it's just half the time it's just you and your mind. Mm-hmm. It's not really, there's nothing there.
I think my most favorite thing...
We were
So we were tired?
We were feeling a freaking presence, dude.
Yeah, but see, that was just us, I think, because we were scaring ourselves. We're like, Jeremy, did you hear that? Anthony, did you hear that? Jeremy, what was that? Were you in the back there, man? We were just playing with ourselves. Like
we
that's
kind of
understandable.
Are. Like, what freaked me... what freaked me out about that is that, like, you were just laying down, and the window was, like, wide open, and all I would do... Like, you would just see... It was full moon. You see the moonlight.
It was like a full moon that night. That was a terrible night.
And you just see like nothing but trees in the distance with the moonlight shining. It's like something you see out of a movie.
And then Slenderman. No,
all I would do, I don't know why, but all I would do is just stand there and stare out the window until something.
I tried not doing that.
Until something like pops up and scares me.
See, like I said, that's your mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like half these are just sometimes your mindset. Sure, there's ghosts and they're messing with you.
It's like
the scary things
I'm
like
expecting something to scare me.
See,
you know what I mean?
you're putting yourself in that mindset, and when you see a tree limb move or something with the wind, then you go, "Oh, what the hell was that?" See, half the time it's your mind, and half the time it's real shit. You know, spirits, and they're messing with you. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you got the good spirits, and then the rest is your mind. I don't see the evil spirits as a thing.
I think my most favorite thing is I heard like a while back, like I heard this for something else, but I remember somebody told me like something had to have happened to somebody years ago for us to be scared of these kind of things. You know what I mean? Someone had to experience this kind of shit years and years and years back, right? To create that sense of
idea,
fear.
yeah.
It had to have come from somewhere. It can't just be popping in somebody's mind to think like,
I wonder.
energy, ghosts.
Yeah.
But it had to have happened to somebody.
Like,
you know?
that experience. That I think that's just where that comes from.
Like, that's
it's dark, and you're like, maybe somebody's out there to kill me. Maybe, and you just slowly get in that mindset, like, oh, maybe there's this ghost, and he's slamming this door, wants to kill me too, or something. But you get in that mindset.
Isn't that so beautiful, knowing that years and years ago, like in the medieval age, people were terrified of the dark. They thought if you got caught in the dark, you were dead. Which, to be fair, you probably were some way or somehow killed or whatever. But the fact that has stuck with us through our genes and all that, being scared of the dark, being scared of the unknown, ghosts, werewolves, whatever the fuck you want to think it is, I think it's so exhilarating just knowing that we still have that sense of emotion that our ancestors had way, 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 way back. That we still have that presence or something that just that tells us that weird feeling, that cautionary feeling that we get, telling us like, look at that window, be careful of that window. You know what I mean? Like it is very, very thrilling.
Going back to Sam's story where like you heard like quiet. I've had a similar experience, but I just heard like somebody saying my name just randomly at night.
Oh, that happens.
That happens. Like,
I also believe that these spirits can visit you in your dreams.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's another one. Again, not necessarily a bad thing.
Because they're an energy, and your memory, your dreams are a form of energy, so they can enter that. Oh, yeah. I know it. Yeah, and that's very true.
But again, I don't believe in the bad ghosts or spirits or whatever.
They say your name like, oh, Jeremy. Like, they're just, like, trying to get your attention.
I'm going to allow them that.
Oh, Jeremy.
If you guys want something to scare you when it comes to those kind of things about
really.
people saying your name,
really.
I've been told countless times growing up, if you ever hear something call your name and there's nothing there, don't answer it. Never ever answer it, because if you answer it, and this is probably going to be a whole other episode. It could be something either like maybe something evil. I know you don't believe in the whole bad thing, but it could be something like evil, like something trying to attach to yourself. And the fact that you acknowledge it, you're acknowledging its presence. It's gonna stick to you because it's just sitting there in the darkness watching you, thinking it knows I'm here. And then it's just gonna torment you. But again, this is just all speculation. This is just me growing up. This is what people told me and all that. I've heard my name, said out of the fucking blue. It'd be the pitch black dark by myself in the house, and all I hear is just a random Sam. And I'm just I'll stop everything I do. I'll keep on just doing what I do.
I swear to God, that's happened to me. I think that's happened to. I think it happens to a lot of people.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no, I'm
positive. That it hasn't happened to me.
Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, like I said, man, it's those kind of things that just that get to me, that thrill me. Ghosts, honestly, are just a huge thing. They've been in pop culture, even. We've at some point, everybody in their life is gonna experience something. There's movies on Netflix.
There's definitely gonna be something there at all times.
Yeah, granted,
It's only good spirits.
Yeah, no, of course. It's always really nice knowing that there's good spirits and all that out there. Like like I said, it could just be somebody that used to live there, somebody that you might have known. I know there's been countless stories that I've heard where people are saying that they felt like a past member has visited them or had left some sort of message for them. It happens all the time. There's a lot of different things that you can take from it. Honestly, like I said, just the fact that it's this open, that it has this many experiences and all that, it's beautiful. Like I said, it's very interesting. If you haven't already, definitely just check it out. Do some YouTube searches. Well, maybe not YouTube, because YouTube is a little weird.
YouTube can be a little weird. Don't believe everything you see on YouTube.
Yeah, don't believe this podcast.
Yeah, especially this one. But no, I mean, Google searches.
Everything we just fed you was complete bullshit.
It was all lies. It was all scripted. No, but really, guys, like I said, this is honest to God. These are real life events.
We don't script any of this. We're just talking.
No, this is
all
literally
real life events that we've gone through.
Yeah, I've had like 4 different things written down, and we went into like a whole entire big experience. Like I said, guys. No matter who you talk to, one way or another, someone's gonna tell you some sort of experience they had. That you can start off with, have you ever had something? And they're gonna tell you no, and then immediately, well, there was this one time.
Oh, yeah,
like of course. And like I said, ghosts, they're such a huge thing, guys. They're constantly like everywhere. There's stories that you hear growing up. Remember those books, the horror stories to tell in the dark, or the scary stories? Yeah, those are the shit,
those.
Dude. Yeah,
man.
Love those are super cool. They're everywhere, man. There's stories. There's books. Like I said, there's tales that you can tell from people. There's even movies. There's a shit ton of movies just based off of ghosts.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Super huge ones like The Shining, The Sixth Sense, Poltergeist, Paranormal Activity, 13 Ghosts. I can name like a million off the top of my head, and they're all super fucking awesome. And if you guys haven't seen them, and if the viewers haven't seen them, or listeners or whatever, dude, check them out. Just check out any ghost movie. Like I said, maybe not the ones on Netflix, because Netflix ones are a little shitty. But that's besides the point. They're still.
You should totally watch Ghost Hunters. That's the realest of them all.
I'll give you one of the best.
To be fair,
I'll give you one of the best.
That's good acting.
I'll give you one of the best realistic ghost movies out there. Ghostbusters.
Oh,
true.
Yes. No. The best ghost movie there is Ghost with Patrick Swayze when he's caressing that girl when they're making that little vase thing. Now that's a scary movie.
Now I'm personally a fan of Casper, but we won't get into all that.
Absolutely. But again, guys, it is super huge. I love this stuff. Just this whole episode, I feel like it actually went pretty well. I feel like
I liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it a bunch.
There's definitely going to be a new episode. We're going to try every week. We're going to talk about something like that. Definitely stay tuned for next week. We are going to be talking about aliens.
Oh my goodness. Guys, holy shit.
Well, I messed that up. Extraterrestrial life.
I'm going to be talking a lot about that.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stories for you.
Guys, if you think this was long, holy shit, prepare to be either amazed or bored out of your fucking mind, because we're going to be talking about aliens, extraterrestrial shit. Like I said, man, yeah, it's going to be super cool. Oh, no. You know what we should do? Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Dude, oh, man. By the way, of course, X-Files. We'll talk about that later on. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, man.
It's definitely all the time we have today.
That's it, guys. It came from the garage. That was our first episode, guys. Ghost. That's where it all started. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It was my personal favorite. It's something that I love, and I hope to continue on with you guys more about this. I can't wait to tell you guys more about shit, because there's a bunch of knowledge.
Yeah, we all just figured out some stuff we didn't know about it.
Yeah, but that brought us closer together.
Closer tears us apart.
Exactly.
Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on all our videos to stay tuned. And we're going to keep coming out with new content all the time. We'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
And for the love of God, don't fucking answer the spirits.